Right, I believe we're live. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Zach F1 channel. Here's the camera. I don't know why I was looking for it over here. Just going to get everything ready for the stream, but good to see you all. Very excited for this British Grand Prix. Could be a bit of rain, let's see what happens. But let me get all of this malarkey out of the way. I also want to do something with this, but I need to figure out how I select the stream. Yeah, is it this one? Does that show how the... No, it does not. It does not. Hang on. All right. Let me get up all of the stuff I need. I haven't actually logged into F1 Fantasy. What am I doing? Am I logged in? Hopefully I'm logged in. Yeah, we're good to go on that account. Just let me get up the the chat so I can see what's going on. And then we're good to go. Here's the bad boy. Right, let's see what's going on. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome. Hey, Tommy Two Fish, how you doing? Good to see you in the chat, man. Did you see on the Discord, I gave you my thoughts as well. Yeah, very excited for Silverstone. I'm so happy for once that I'm actually not in the stands because it's cold and it doesn't look very nice. So it is what it is. But right, let me get up the chat again. Sorry, I got a little distracted. Let me bring this over here. Let me bring this over here, this over here. Sorry, I'm a little bit all over the place today. But now I should be ready to go. Hopefully. Oh, Jesus, man. I can't get this set up properly. What am I playing at? Okay, there we go. It should be all right. Yes, hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. So how's my team looking for the race? So annoyingly, I'm not actually very happy with my team going into this weekend because realistically, this is what I'm going to do. Let me change browser as well in a second because I can get rid of the ads. This is basically what I'm going to do. And I saw someone mention actually in the video before about wondering, I think it was DVS, who's normally, I've recognised the name. The issue with Albon, so I know he's not actually got many points this season. The issue is Canada, he got unlucky, should have got quite a few more points than that. Italy wasn't his fault, it was the car's fault. He's had a very unlucky season with -20s. But overall, as you can see, when he's not getting unlucky, he is a great driver to have. That's why I'm pretty adamant on having him. Also, I've just realised that the music isn't playing as well. Oh, that's too loud. There we go. That's a good starting area. So, yeah, that's why I think Albon's still a decent option. Great. Cheers, Ari. Thank you very much. Hey, Michael. How you doing, man? Good to see you. But yeah, so this is probably what my team's going to look like heading into the qualifying. I doubt anything's going to change because, yeah, I have, what's it called? I don't have the money to be able to use a McLaren Mercedes Norris Piastri build, which is a bit of an issue. But... yeah, after the Norris DNF, I mean, that was a joke, man. I can't believe that happened. And the crazy thing is, I'm pushing Norris. I do think there'll be contact again, because it will be them first and second place, 100% again, because it always is. But, you know, we'll see how it goes. And Gasly, I must know. So Gasly did crash. He beached his car in the gravel in FP3. But like I said in the Discord, that can kind of happen to anyone when it's raining. It's sort of it's pot luck whoever you get. But overall, I know I don't actually have Gasly in my team. I would love to have him. Realistically, in a beautiful world where I have unlimited transfers, this is what my team would look like for anyone who's wondering. It'd have Gasly, Hulkenberg, Magnussen. Genuinely would probably then have Sargent. I know it's bad having Sargent, but having Gasly, Hulkenberg and Magnussen would be so amazing. So that would be the team I'd be hoping to get from this. You could, if you really don't like having that, you could do Albon and then Zhou instead. But like those sorts of teams with the single premium driver, you could do as well. Going with Norris, Hamilton, Albon, Hulkenberg, Bottas with McLaren and Merc, Force. Would you take Gasly and Sargent over Albon and Bottas? So yeah, biblical. I would take not Albon and Bottas. I would take Gasly and Sargent over Albon and Bottas. Because yeah, he did crash out, but realistically, Gasly, like I said, he's going to start P20. We know that. Even if he qualified first, out of the blue, he's still going to start 20 if he's got a 20 place grid penalty. The thing is, in Alpine, we know he can get close to the top 10. And if he can, beautiful points. That's why I'm really disappointed I can't get him in at the minute. But, you know, that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. And it's really annoying. How much money do I have? I believe I've got like 116.8 million. I might be wrong, though, because I believe that's what I had. Yeah, 116.8 million. I can't even lie. My budgeting has been wank so far. I started off the season really well with the budgets. And then my cheap driver's just been really letting me down. I've had Hulkenberg before. I've had all of these drivers that have gone up, but not at the times they go up, and it's it's quite annoying. But you know, is what it is. Let me get up the team again that I will be running. Actually, let me get up the team that I think everyone should have, because I think that's better for the insight. Let me see. For like, if you've only got a one premium driver build. A Racing, how you doing? Aren't you worried about the not budget building with that team? Well, here's the thing. So, even with a team like this, you're technically still budget building, and here's why. I'll get to you in a second, Racing. I know I said your name and then I didn't. Because even let's take let's say I had this team right here. The way F1 Fantasy's heading, with Mercedes not getting enough points every weekend to go up 1 million. Ferrari aren't getting enough points to go up 1 million. Constructors aren't really a big issue anymore for budget building. Then you go on to the second premium drivers, with Norris always getting a driver of the day and fastest lap sometimes. None of the premium drivers are getting the 1 million increases. So at this point, you've kind of just got to risk it with the cheap drivers. So it kind of works out where you go for a one premium driver build, where that's probably actually the budget building team as well. Because yeah, you might lose 0.1, 0.2 million not having Mercedes, but you're going to get so many more points from McLaren and Red Bull. And then you just got to hope that the cheap drivers you get have 0.5 million and get like 1.5 million to 2 million increase each race. That's all you can really hope for, to be fair. Russell plus Albon or Hamilton and Zhou. I'd go with Russell and Albon. Gintaris. Yeah. Hope GP better get us. Yeah, hopefully, man. Hopefully, Brainstem. We'll see how it goes. But with the rain, I mean, I'm excited for it, because the rain will always add some juiciness, no matter what. It's a great racing coming. And I don't think it's enough rain to really disrupt it in general. I mean, from what I was watching in FP3, I know there was rain coming, but they've all thought that it's going to die down a bit by the time qualifying comes. And we can even check that, actually. Let's have a check. Because that's the issue. I can't even look outside, because nowhere near it. So I still need to look up what it will be. But by 3 o'clock, it's gonna be normal again, and that's the issue. Do you remember last season's qualifying where everyone was getting improving? It's gonna happen this week as well, from what I think. But yeah, right. Let me get to some of the other things we were talking about. Verstappen had a spin 2 in FP3. Wouldn't read much. Yeah, exactly. 100% agreed, Racing. I 100% agree. But then you've got Red Bull, McLaren, Norris, Sonoda, Hulkenberg, Bottas, Zhou, 115.3 million, 2 free transfers. I'm thinking Red Bull to Mercedes and Zhou to Gasly. Ooh, I don't know about that, Racing. Because, again, Zhou will get 5 to 10. Okay, I could be really broad and say 0 to 10 points. Let's say he gets 0 to 5 points. Gasly's still going to get less than 15 points, I think. Is that 10-point gap? Do you think Red Bull and Mercedes are going to have less than a 10-point gap? I don't think so. That's why I wouldn't go for it. A Infinity, how you doing, man? Hey, Marco. Hello. After that massacre in Canada, I'm also behind on a budget. Still below 120 million. I went full Ferrari. You and me both. You and me both with the Ferrari one in Canada. We could have got away with it, but we didn't. All GB podium. Hey, Ricky, we could dream. But it has to be in the right order. It has to be Norris and then Russell, Hamilton, Hamilton, Russell. Who cares about the other two? Red Bull or Mercedes? I'd go with Red Bull. They haven't looked amazing this weekend, but Perez actually has been looking okay. And as a team, Verstappen's always gonna... Let me get back onto this. Verstappen always delivers eventually, even if he hasn't been performing. So I'm not too worried about Red Bull. Plus, fastest pit stops normally goes to them. It went to Ferrari last weekend, but it should be fine. The single premium driver build rise around 1 million per race, and double builds 1.5 million, but it can be more or less depending on DNFs and overtakes. Yeah, so basically you just gotta hope that your cheap drivers... It's all in the cheap drivers, like I keep saying, because Mercedes... Even in these great weeks Mercedes have had, like 74 points in Canada, 76 points in Austria, they're still not going up 1 million. And realistically, you could have a 2 premium driver build and go up no budget because you screwed up the cheap drivers. You could also have a single premium driver build where you got like 100 points less than the 2 premium driver build because you've got like weird constructors and stuff, and you could have gone up like 2 million because you got the right cheap drivers. It's a whole thing. Piastri or Merc driver? I'd go with Piastri, Tommy. Purely because Piastri's been looking decent, and Mercedes looked good in the rain, actually. It looks like it's similar to Canada, where Mercedes decent in the rain. However, when it starts to settle down, McLaren start to rise again, and then Red Bull will be in the mix just because it's Red Bull. Best second driver out of Russell, Hamilton and Sainz. I think it'd probably be Russell best, Hamilton second, Sainz third. Purely on just like... I can't not say Russell's a good option anymore. I keep on saying Hamilton for the overtake points and stuff. But when Russell's the one who can be sitting behind Verstappen and Norris, like we saw in Austria, it can work out. Hello everyone. Hey veteran, how you doing, man? Thinking McLaren, Norris, and the wet Alonso. Oh, okay, the wet goat. You know what? Veteran, I like the balls on you. Yeah, you too, man. I hope you're doing well as well. I see why. Scary budget building, but if, like I said, I don't trust the Aston Martin pace. But if they actually do have the pace and in the rain, Alonso's even said it's his only chance, so I wouldn't be surprised if he could do something. Right, Bottas versus Zhou. He normally qualifies worse. I can't even say he does better in the races anymore. He does just good enough in the races. And what's it called? Bottas qualifies like 12th, 13th and drops down to 16th and 17th, which isn't good enough. Hey, Fernando. So Lando 2 times, Piastri, Sonoda, Magnussen, Gasly, Alpine. Is that, yeah, McLaren, 2 transfers, 116. Thinking to drop Piastri, then bring in Red Bull, but we'll have to bring... Logan. Okay, yeah, it's worth it, honestly, because Alpine as a constructor aren't good enough. So Fernando, I would go with what you're saying there, dropping to get Red Bull in and dropping Piastri down to, yes, it's Logan, but the gap between Red Bull and Alpine is like potentially 50 to 60 points, which is a lot more than the gap from Piastri to Logan. Hey Zach, I'm in the pub. What's the am I having a brain dead moment here, Reese? TLDR? Huh? I think I don't know if it's something like a really easy abbreviation I'm missing about. What do you think about the weather? So I've spoken about it. I've still got it up actually here. It's gonna be fine potentially. No, it's not gonna be fine. What am I looking at? Am I stupid when I looked at that? What? It could be raining come quali, but from the looks of things, if we have another look down here, from the looks of things, by 4 o'clock, it's not going to be raining. So here's the thing. I think it's going to be one of those times where it starts heavily raining. Well, it's Britain. It will spit. It will just drizzle and be really annoying. It will be there. Then by 3 o'clock, it will slow down, and then the track's just going to improve until Q1. No, until the final part of qualifying, where we just get everyone doing the fastest lap times again. Is it worth taking a -10 to get Red Bull instead of Mercedes? So that's an interesting question. From my calculations, I think so. Yes, because I think Red Bull will get around 15-20 points more than Mercedes. It will be tight though. Are people not having Gasly anymore? Yeah, so Gasly is definitely worth it, but he's not worth taking a -10 for. So like for me, I could do this. Oh, actually, you know what? First poll of the day. You lot are going to help me out. No problem, Fernando. You lot are going to help me out. What should I do? Should I do Team 1 or Team 2? This is Team 1. So everyone remember Team 1? This is Team 1 or Team 2. There's another way. This is Team 2. What are you all thinking? Do a little poll for that. Because I'm thinking Team 1, but... So what was that? Albon and Ocon, or... Hang on. Albon / Ocon, or Sargent / Gasly. What we saying? What we saying? I know some people are putting it Team 1, 2, 2. Why not double B tier? I can't afford it, Mike, and I don't think it's worth having Russell, McLaren, Mercedes. You have to have the two best drivers at the same time. Oh, okay. Let's see how that goes. But right, yes. No, let me get up what I wanted to get up. I'll try to do it on the other screen. I'll try to read some more. Nah, go away. Put it over here for now. Just so I'm not getting ads in my face. Because we'll also get up F1 Fantasy Tools. F1 Fantasy. Oh, you're not going to have me logged in, are you? Oh, you donut. Great. Another nerve-wracking week ahead. Yeah, the good thing is, yeah. Well, actually, it's not a good thing because I love watching F1. We've got a 2-week break now until Hungary. I'm pretty sure it's the next race. Because I'm pretty sure it's Hungary. Then it's Spa. Then it's summer break. Although I'll have a look back into that. 50-50. Oh my god. You know what? that's closer than I thought it'd be. Oh my god. Which are the best constructors to have this weekend? It's got to be McLaren and Red Bull. But it's, again, it depends on what team you have. So if you have Norris and Piastri with decent, cheap drivers, then McLaren and Mercedes are the best 2 options. But if you can only afford one single premium driver, then McLaren and Red Bull 100% are the best. But if you're crazy and you got 124 million plus, like I said, McLaren and Red Bull with Norris and Piastri, the way to go. Sonoda not looking good. Yeah, I've said I full-heartedly agree with what I said as well. Try steer clear of the VCARB drivers. It's not the end of the world if you have them, by all means, but I don't like the VCARB drivers at the minute. They've not been looking amazing. Ricciardo, funnily enough, actually better than Sonoda. But overall, when you got Alpines and Haas both looking better, I'd go for them instead. Is Stroll worth it this weekend? I would go with Hulkenberg and Albon. Oh, interesting. So you wouldn't actually pick the Alpine? Because I know Gasly's just like, he's so tantalizing. No, he's got a 20-place grid penalty. And I could see Hulkenberg doing well. The issue with Hulkenberg is, if it's not raining come Sunday, we can actually have a look at what it thinks it's going to be. A 45% coverage, potentially. It might be rainy at some parts and not at others. We'll see how that goes. Ocon is dropping $1. Yeah, I know. That's why I want him gone. But that's the thing. I want him gone. I want Sargent gone. I want half my team gone. It's ropes. But oh well, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Looking to run Lando. So Derek says, looking to run Lando, Piastri, Magnussen, or Hulkenberg. I'd go with Hulkenberg this weekend, though. I do still agree, even though I don't think he'll be able to keep to like P6 or P7. Zhou and Sargent, McLaren and Mercedes. Any thoughts on Magnussen or well, there you go. I should have just finished the comment. Yeah, I think Hulkenberg looks like he's got the edge this weekend. Purely because qualifying will be quite important this weekend. I know it's quite easy to overtake here, but you don't see as many overtakes as you normally do. Not normally do. in the last two race weekends we've seen in Austria and in Barcelona. Will Gasly have any minus points for his grid penalties? So no, none of them. That is one of the things that I do want added into F1 Fantasy, penalty points. But for this season alone, you don't get any penalty points for doing for penalties. That's why it's so amazing, because you'll get times where Verstappen or Norris or even like the Leclerc or Sainz, they qualify really nicely, get you a few points, then get a 20 place grid penalty, start at the back of the grid. It could be more, could be less than 20 place grid penalty. But when they start at the back of the grid, then you know they're going to get driver of the day if they get into the top 8. And they're going to get 24 points minimum for position gains and overtake points. It's spectacular. It's chef's kiss. Alright, so everyone's saying Albon and Ocon. Well, I say everyone. It's 52%. I will go with... I don't know. That's really hard. I think I'm going to stick with Albon Ocon then. If it's 52 to 48, I'll go with the consensus. Why not take the minus 10 for the budget and take Gasly for Ocon plus Gasly will make most points as well. Again, I don't think it's... I genuinely don't think there's a minus 10 in there. Gasly's going to get 15 points maximum. Ocon's not going to get more than 10 points. I expect him to get like 7 or 8 points. Is there enough points to minus 10? Not in my opinion. Especially when Sargent, again, he should just get 0 to 5 points. Hey, Jao Pedro, how you doing, man? Sorry, people have asked me about wildcard teams as well. I'll quickly get onto that. So if you're wildcarding, I would suggest... If you're wildcarding, it should only be because you have over 117 million in budget value and you can do a team that looks like this. That's Norris, that's Piastri, and then you bring in your cheap drivers. I'd recommend, if you can get Haas drivers in, if you can bring a Hulkenberg in, but if you can't, then cheap drivers are the way to go. But it would be good to have someone like Sargent, Zhou, and Hulkenberg on top of it. Is no negative worthy since it's a strong track and for sure wet at least half the race. It's not a bad shout, but it's no negative. It's always 50-50. If it's raining, fair enough. I just don't think it's going to be raining enough to result in too many crashes, because like we saw as well, no negatives great for close cornered tracks or sprint race weekends. And at a track like Silverstone, if you go off, unless it's a massive shunt, most of the time you can carry on with the car. You'll spin around, like we saw a lot of people spinning, carrying on. And yes, you'll get quite a few negative points for that, but I don't think there's going to be many DNFs this weekend, if there's no engine issues or just issues with the car in general. Alright, didn't Gasly get a 50 place grip? Was it 50? I thought I heard it was 20. I mean, either way, same thing. He started at the back of the grid. Yeah, they've done. Was it his engine? I can't remember exactly what it was, but they've changed something in his car. Yeah, right. I'll get to the budget building team. Budget building team for anyone who's still below value would look like this. So I'm assuming for anyone who's got a budget building team. This is for anyone below 110 million. You'll have Norris as your 2 times. Then you'll have your cheap drivers here. But your cheap drivers will look like this. Dance the night away. Your cheap drivers will look like that. However, if you've got a bit more money and you want to go for the budget building team, then it's the 2 premium driver team as well. Which would have Piastri in there as well with some... worse cheap drivers, but still good enough. Hey Kevster, how you doing? I have Red Bull, McLaren, Norris, Gasly, Hulkenberg, Zhou, Sargent. Thinking of changing to Mercedes, McLaren, Norris, Hamilton. What do you think? See, when it's someone like Hamilton, here's why. Let me get up F1 Fantasy tools. Here's why I don't think it's worth bringing in Hamilton as a second premium driver and dropping down to Mercedes. Let's get to the race results. Will Pierre occur penalty points or no? No penalty points in F1 Fantasy, so nothing there. The reason why I think it's not worth it is look at the points Hamilton gets. Okay, so on a good weekend, 32 and 29 points. But look at how average his scores are. 20, 16, 20, 23. If he got 23 points, let's say, which is a decent points haul for him, your second premium driver, to be a good enough team, has to be getting into the close 30s. Like something Verstappen's doing here, 38, 37. Or Piastri here, 27. Or, well, Hamilton last weekend. In Barcelona, Canada, 32, 29. And I don't think Hamilton gets that every weekend, especially where Piastri is going to be the one going. And it's all because of the constructors. Look at Mercedes, yeah? Let's take Spain, for instance, which is a more likely scenario than what Austria was. You've got Red Bull on 82 points and Mercedes on 66 points. Now, that is what, a 16 point gap. And I think there's more of a gap from Hamilton. No, my bad. There's less of a gap from Hamilton, 16 here, to the likes of the Gaslys, the Albons, the Sonodas, than there is to the Red Bull Mercedes. So that's my reasoning behind always picking Red Bull when you can, and only if you have the second best premium driver. Because then if you get into the high 20s, then you're getting more points than... You're recovering more points than Red Bull would get you over Mercedes, if you get what I mean. Recently, Bottas has performed better than Zhou, so that is true in F1 terms, but in F1 fantasy terms, not really. I know, crazy times. F1 fantasy times, Austria, 8 points. Okay, Spain, 1 point, Canada, 8 points. Yeah, it's all right. But then you've got Austria, 2, Spain, 4, Canada... I mean, you are right, but... by not much. Trust me, Zhou's still the one to go. I completely shot myself in the foot there. I could have sworn he got more points somewhere. Oh, whoopsie daisy. Right. Yes, he does have a good track record at Silverstone, but the issue is, let's have a look at the results from last season, because this is what I kind of need to show you guys, because when Mercedes aren't the top car, it doesn't really matter too much about track record. Like, that was very good from Mercedes. However, if you remember to last year's, Piastri should have beat him. He got quite unlucky with the pit stops. Fourth would have been a good result for Mercedes, but when you've not got the fastest car, it doesn't really matter too much. Do you know when the F1 Fantasy tools are out, Tyler? Normally it's around 45 minutes. It's normally around like 15 minutes to now. 2:15, 2 o'clock. So an hour, 45 minutes before the race starts. Not the race, the qualifying. What's your opinion on Piastri plus Hulkenberg or Hamilton and Gasly? Lyrism. I would 100% go Piastri and Hulkenberg over Hamilton and Gasly. Piastri and Hulkenberg just in general. Because even though Gasly should be good, Hulkenberg's the other top dog this weekend who looks proper tasty. Sargent to Albon for a -10. Nah, probably not. I doubt Sargent gets, unless he crashes out, of course. But you know, that's variance. You can't really you can't control that. Albon won't get more than 12, 15 points. Sargent won't get more than 5 points. There's a 10-point gap. Hey Nico, how you doing? I hope you're doing well as well. I have Norris, Sonoda, Hulkenberg, Gasly, Sargent, Mercedes, and Red Bull. 2 swaps. Don't know what to do. So your first swap will be to get Mercedes out, bring in McLaren. If you need a bit of money to do that, drop Sonoda down to someone like Albon. And then, if you can, try and get rid of Sargent. If you've got a bit of money to play around with, try to bring in K-Mag, because that's the driver who looks like you're looking. Ocon or Gasly this weekend? Definitely, I'd go for Gasly, Mia. Is it worth using no negative? So in my opinion, no, but when it's raining, but I've said why, because there's not as many crashes at Silverstone, like big crashes. You obviously had Hamilton and Verstappen crashing out 2021, but normally if you have a crash and you don't get beached on the gravel, you can carry on driving, which is okay. I think if Hamilton does well, he's going to get driver of the day. That's the issue. We've got 3 British drivers. Who's the British bias going to go to? Us British fans, we don't know what to do with ourselves. How do we pick all 3 British drivers? We can't. No, I'm telling you, it will still go to Norris, because Norris will still do better than Hamilton. And Hamilton's more beloved, especially in Britain, but Norris is close behind, and especially in a weekend where if he gets... Norris could potentially get first place here. If he does get first place, he's getting driver of the day, of course. But even if Norris comes second and Hamilton comes third, Norris is still getting driver of the day. What will your team look like? My team, sadly, will look like this. I say sadly, it's still not a bad team. But I'm not happy about missing out on the Gasly points. I just have to hope that Ocon does his job. Leclerc versus Piastri, 100% Piastri. Sadly, for any Ferrari fans out there, Ferrari do not look good this weekend. I'm not expecting too much from Ferrari in general. Mercedes, if it's raining a bit, look out for them. I think there could be dark horses there or thereabouts. So if I took out Ocon, I think the replacement for me, first of all, I couldn't afford it if I did bring it in. The replacement for me would be Gasly, but obviously I'd have Sargent instead because it would only be 2 free transfers. But Albon Ocon, it's a tough one. I think they're going to score very similar points, but I think there's more chance of Albon and Ocon both going up 0.5 million than Gasly and Sargent, if you get my drift. Gasly or Hulkenberg, I'd go with Gasly. Autopilot and Lando and Piastri. So it's not a bad shout, but I still believe that Piastri hasn't really been contesting with Lando for the last few races. I'd be very surprised if he did get anywhere near to Lando. So I think it's quite a safe one to 2 times. However, I said that about Austria. So, you know, anything could happen when Norris and Verstappen are at the front. What's your ideal team for 114 million? My ideal team for 114 million would look something like this. I believe you could have something like this. So you'd have Nico Hulkenberg, you'd have, where's my boy, Gasly, and then you'd have something like this. I believe that's 113.9 million. I believe that team is. Who asked that? Yeah, Steven. I'd go for a team something like this because you get Gasly and you get Hulkenberg. Sargent Zhou kind of let your team down, but you get the best of what you can get to your team right now. Hulkenberg or K-Mag? For this race and this race alone, Nico Hulkenberg. Any other race, Kevin Magnussen. Purely because I do think Hulkenberg's going to qualify like he's gonna show something. He's either going to be P7, P8. And then hopefully he can stick to around P8, P9. And I think if Magnussen does qualify badly this weekend with Gasly out of position, I think Gasly might push Magnussen out of the way. And it could be a little bit difficult for him to get up closer. Ideal team for 117 million. Funnily enough, ideal team for 117 million is very similar to my team. Because you just about can't afford to have the 2 premium drivers of Piastri and Norris. But you could also do something a little like this. La-da-dee, la-da-doo, la-da-dum. You could have something like this. 2 extra million. So you could either go for this, which I think would be the better shout. Magnussen, Hulkenberg, Gasly with Sargent. Or you could, if you really don't want to have Sargent, Albon Zhou. Albon Zhou it. Like literally what I'm going to do as well. That's what you could do as well. Is Magnussen for Tsunoda worth it? I believe so. This weekend, I think it will be worth it. I would be surprised if Tsunoda got more than, what we saying, 8 points, which could be enough for a 0.5 million, but he's not going to be the top scoring. Yeah, FPL veteran, of course. I'm telling you. As a single premium driver, team, Red Bull definitely over Mercedes. Now, I know they looked good in FP3 especially, but FP2 is what I want to delve on a little bit more because it's the Verstappen tax plus fastest pit stops plus Mercedes not getting fastest laps anymore. I think all of that combined with Perez, I think is going to get a top 6, top 7 this weekend. I don't think Mercedes will be there 100%. I think they're going to be 4th and 5th. But I think Red Bull are going to be 2nd and 7th, and I think that'll be better. Hulkenberg or Gasly? Gasly, Milosh. Tommy, yes. My fantasy formula is different from your league. My Rift? Eh? I have Norris... well, I'll give you a team anyway. I have Norris, Sainz, Albon, Hulkenberg. Oh, right. That's your team without Red Bull, isn't it? I believe that's the team you're talking about. I would go with Norris Piastri. Norris Piastri, Hulkenberg, good. Albon Bottas, fine. But then I'd try to get Ferrari up to McLaren. But it's not worth changing Ferrari to McLaren. Actually, I think it might be, yeah. I generally think it might be going more favourable to have Norris with McLaren and Mercedes just even in that situation. Tommy Twofish. 118.9 million, though. You should be able to just go up to Ferrari from McLaren with that team anyway. Hey, I love it. I love it. Tommy Twofish, you're too kind, by the way. $10. Thank you so much. But okay. Yeah, to be fair, I was never going to get that abbreviation. Oh, man, that's quality, though. Risky for the chocolate biscuit. Yeah, okay. I get what you mean. So, basically, yeah. So, that team, no Red Bull, I'm assuming, in the Risky for the chocolate biscuit team. So, yeah. Ferrari up to the McLarens. Norris. And you know what? If we're risking it, then I would go with Russell. Norris and Russell. Why not? And then not have Bottas instead. You could have Gasly instead of Bottas. There you go, Tommy. Red Bull, McLaren, or McLaren and Mercedes. So, Nico, 1 premium driver teams, Red Bull, McLaren. 2 premium driver teams, McLaren and Mercedes. What's the expected gap in points between Red Bull? Yeah, you know what? Mercedes and Red Bull, we can do that right now. Where is my calculator? Let's get the calculator out, everyone. Okay. Right. Red Bull. Let's be mean to Red Bull here as well. Let's be mean. Let's say we get Verstappen 18 points. Let's say Verstappen gets 2nd place. He also gets 8 points in qualifying. We're doing minimum points. What else would they get? Then you got Perez. Let's say he got let's say he gets 7th. So that's 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 4, 6. And then let's say in qualifying he gets 3 points. Now, let's then say Red Bull get 8 points here for fastest pit stops. And then let's say they get 10 overtake points. They could be sitting around 53 points. Oh, is it actually? My bad. There you go. You can see it now. Thank you, because I've done that twice now, you know. I've actually done that twice. 53 points on on the low ball. However, the issue is on the low ball for Mercedes. Mercedes low ball is, let's say, Russell comes 4th, Hamilton comes 5th. They both get 10 overtake points, and then they get 5 plus 5. There's a 10 points difference in the low ball teams. Now, of course, we don't know exactly what's going to happen with the points. Could Verstappen could get 1st place, but I just think there's more range for Red Bull to go up than there is for Mercedes. And we kind of see that throughout the season as well. If you look, not at Austria, not at Canada, but that's because Perez crashed out. But yeah, on most weekends, you're going to be seeing Red Bull doing better. They've had a few issues, obviously in Monaco, Canada, Austria, but normally they would. Ocon or Tsunoda, I'd go with Ocon, 64-bit. Hamilton or Russell, I'd go for Russell. Let's head back to my team as well. Although I wish that was my team. Yes. Pierre qualifies P1. He starts 20 if he doesn't start with a minus 20. Yes, 100%. He will not start with a minus 20, I'm pretty sure. Although, your brainstem, you've got to be careful because we've all got Gasly to qualify first. I mean, it's like, what's it called? It's like when we say Logan is going to come last. We know he's going to win, so we don't even want to play him. Like Tommy Twofish's team, risk it for the chocolate biscuit. Why do we even put Sargent in there? Because he's just so overpowered. And he's just a cheat code, in my opinion. Are we sure Gasly's going to set a time in quali? Yeah, they'll set a time. I mean, they bloody better set a time. Because Gasly will still want to see what his car can do, because there's no point in not setting a time. And I mean, there is the save parts and stuff, but I wouldn't be surprised if they give him one lap, see what you can do, and then that's it. Hi Zach, what do you think about Norris, Hulkenberg, what the hell? Magnussen, Gasly, Ocon, McLaren, Mercedes. With carrying one transfer to the next race, or Norris, Hamilton, Hulkenberg. I would go. I would actually not take the -10, honestly, and I would keep the one transfer for next weekend. It's a worse team, don't get me wrong, the Norris, Hulkenberg, Magnussen, Gasly, Ocon, McLaren, Mercedes team. However, I think with the Gasly points and with Hamilton only getting low 20 points, I think there'll be less than a 10-point gap between Hamilton and Gasly, so there's no point in changing. Is it worth taking a -10 to swap Sargent out for K-Mag? No, Joda, I don't think so. Any ideas for the best 120 million? Yeah, Kieran, for you, I'd have a look into teams like this. Let me get up F1 Fantasy Tools for it. Sorry, I don't know what I'm getting. Stroll or Magnussen. Also, I'd go for Lance Stroll over Magnussen. Let's get this bad boy up, because I know I can't show you the team with 120 million, but it should show Norris, Piastri, McLaren, Mercedes. What are they doing? What is this? This is disgusting. Get it off my screen. What is going on with the simulations? McLaren and Ferrari? What? In what world are we living in? What world are we living in that? From FP2, I know McLaren and Mercedes didn't do too well. No, they're not up yet, FPL veteran, but what is going on? McLaren and Ferrari. Alright, let's scroll down. I believe for 120 million, this would be a better team. The one I'm highlighting over, number 5, McLaren, Mercedes, Norris, Piastri, Gasly, Joe, Sargent. Definitely having Gasly in your team. Yeah, to be fair. Wait, I think it might be raining right now. No, that's just a train coming past. Yeah, I know Ferrari had one good weekend of pit stops. Like, wait, does it still show us the live scoring of last points? Yeah, Ferrari got one good weekend of fastest pit stops, and all of a sudden they're like, you gotta have Ferrari. Yeah, oh god. What has the world become? Joe and Sargent in top teams. Oh, we're finished. Out of the lineup, so this is for Mello. Out of the lineup, would you change anyone? Budget is 118 million. Norris, Magnussen, Gasly, Hulkenberg, Zhou, Red Bull, McLaren. Magnussen, good. Gasly, good. Hulkenberg, good. Zhou, good. Yeah, that's a really good team. Because I doubt you can move to the McLaren Mercedes team with 2 premium drivers. So, we'll see what happens. Verani, you don't want my opinions on that. Did anyone? Obviously, this is an F1 chat, so I won't talk about it for too long. Did anyone actually watch the France-Portugal game? I knew it was going to be 0-0, but my God, that was worse than Southgate Ball. I'm telling you, it was worse because I didn't even have any incentive. But yeah, I'm very scared for England versus Switzerland. That's not going to be fun. I'm sure the hell going to be drinking a lot to get through that. I know some people have been posting about how they just don't do anything. They just watch the screen the whole time. Southgate Ball. Oh. But winning the Euros, it's going to be Spain, innit? It's going to be Spain. Ocon, Magnussen, I'd go for Magnussen. If you have to build budget, is it still worth it to take the -10 to get Red Bull instead of Mercedes? Yes, in a sense, and here's why. Because Mercedes aren't going up by 1 million anytime soon. We even saw in Austria that would have been the time that Mercedes went up 1 million. And let's have a look how much they went up. 0.3 million. If they can't even get a 1 million increase after that result, yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, if you're a veteran, mate, you're giving me too much faith. We aren't even beating Switzerland at this point. But yeah, F1 top tier. That's the best one. I can get the team you have on the screen, but do you think it's worth a -10? Depends what it was before DVS. Also, anyone, if you want like a visualizer of what your team could look like and what I'm looking at, Send your teams over on Twitter or the Discord. Actually, let me get all of that good stuff up for you all. I'll get the Discord, I'll get the Twitter link. Not Twitter link. I'll get the links in for the league for anyone who wants to join it. I don't actually know how many people are in it at the minute. It's close to 800 last time I checked. I can check now actually. Yeah, 791. And then I'll get up Twitter as well. Just if anyone sends me over teams there, just put it in the chat if you sent me over any teams, and I'll get around to it as well. Sonoda or Ocon? Ocon. Will you take a -10 to swap Ferrari to Red Bull? 100% taking a -10 for that. Yeah. So Ben, with Ferrari swap to Red Bull, I genuinely don't see Ferrari getting. They could get one driver in the top 5 this weekend, but I could see it being 5th and 7th. I genuinely think one of the Ferraris is going to be behind Perez this weekend. I'm a bit scared, for Ferrari fans, but I generally do think that's what's going to happen. But increase are highly dependent on DNFs. Nothing Merc could do about it. Well, that's the thing, Biblical. In a weekend as well, where that's why I thought in a weekend like that, that's when they could have done it. Red Bull didn't score as many points. McLaren didn't score as many points. The average was, it was not as low as it could have been in other weekends. But I get it, because 38.8 is still a high average in points. But that average points is coming from Mercedes doing it. So it's a shame for them, but it's the way the cookie crumbles. We thinking Piastri or Hammy? It's got to be Piastri this weekend. I have real faith that Piastri is going to be 3rd place this weekend. Then DVS responding back. Oh, yeah, right, yeah. Currently 2 premium drivers with Norris, Piastri, and McLaren and Mercedes. Right, let me have a look at what you responded. Oh, DVS, then keep with your team. 100% keep with your team. Your team's better than what I've got right now. I would actually prefer to have the team you've got at the minute. I just can't afford it, mate. So yeah, 100% stick with that. Hey Zach, I'm running Norris 2 times. Piastri, good. Gasly, good. Zhou, good. Sargent, yeah. McLaren and Mercedes. Any thoughts on the ways I can improve? So we know the ways it can improve would be to try to get rid of Sargent, whatever, if possible. But obviously, I doubt you could do that. And honestly, with a team like that, having Gasly as your 3rd best option, Austin, I genuinely think you have the best team possible. I'm actually going to pin that message, because for anyone who's got the 2 premium driver builds, unless you can improve Zhou and Sargent, that's the best team you can get to this weekend. I full-heartedly believe that. Yeah, 100% DVS. I'd be surprised. It's going to be close. I think the McLaren Mercedes teams won't run away with it, but Norris is going to get high end of 20 points, and that's going to be good enough. Hello, Infinity. Zhou or Bottas? Zhou, even though I did actually... You know what? I did actually get shown that Bottas got more points, and he has, but I still prefer Zhou. What do I need to have a look at? Yes, I need to have a look at this. Yeah, all good, still there. What team do I build with 116.2 million? Can't use Red Bull or Max. Would very much appreciate it. I love you. Thank you very much, Faflo. You would want, actually, a very similar team to... Not this team I'm showing right now. You want a very similar team to what I've got here. Because you couldn't afford this, but you could do something where you could Ocon. I believe if you dropped Ocon to Hulkenberg, you could afford a team like this, Faflo, and you'd be sitting pretty with something like that. Did they update fantasy tools for Silverstone? So they've done the update for after FP2, and they've got a lot of Ferrari. So I wouldn't read too much into that. Oh, actually. No, nothing still for qualifying. We'll see in a second, though. They normally come out within a few 10-15 minutes from now. This is how I'm lining up for Britain. Lando DRS, good. Gasly, good. Sonoda, not the end of the world. Hulkenberg, good. Sargent, not the end of the world as well. Red Bull, Mercedes, decent shout. I would try to get in McLaren if you could, Nathan, but overall it's still decent. Infinity, let me get that up for you, because I believe it's not going to show you the right team, and I'll show you the right team anyway. But with a team without 109.5 million, you want to be going for Red Bull and McLaren. Oh, okay, actually. No. Oh, no. Can you not afford McLaren and Red Bull? Right, get rid of these Ferrari geezers. There they are. Pretty sure you could afford McLaren. Holy crap. Okay, fair enough. Infinity, you're going to want to go for McLaren, Mercedes, and Norris then. You're going to want to go for this team here because Hulkenberg, Magnussen, Gasly, Hulkenberg, Magnussen are the best 3 cheap drivers you can use. And you can't afford Red Bull. So 100% you need Norris over Piastri as the 2 times as well. Go for 200 plus points, fantasy points with double driver builds. Yeah, 100%. They should do. I mean, let's have a look at what it thinks the best team is going to be, just in general. Because, I mean, we know it's going to show Ferrari, which is going to be a little bit silly. But let's put our budget up to 125. Let's see what it thinks it's going to be. It's going to be some silly-ass team. I mean, just look at this. I mean, just look at it. So everyone looking at the teams, I do agree that McLaren, Norris, Piastri are the best teams, like I've been reiterating. However, it's McLaren, Mercedes, not McLaren, Ferrari. Yes. So force on Piastri, Stroll. Mia, I would try to get Norris if you could, just because the difference from 2 timesing Norris and Piastri, let me show you over here. You'll see the difference when you get the 2 times driver with driver of the day, fastest lap, all of this malarkey on your team. Where is it? Yeah, so Norris, 51 points. Canada, 40 points. Italy, 37 points. China, 36 points. All of these weekends, by the way, he didn't actually win the race. He didn't win the race. And he got driver of the day and still got the most points out of anyone. And that's why you need the 2 times on Norris. Because, again, 51 points compared to 38. You're losing, how much is that? Verstappen would have got you 76 points. Norris got you 102 points. What's that? 26 points you lost from just not having Norris 2 times, which is more than what you would have probably the gap between Red Bull and Mercedes. So that's why you really need to be careful with that. Mercedes, sort of. It's not really the meta. It's just if you're getting words, for getting 2 premium drivers, it is. I can afford your team swapping Gasly for Sargent, or have Mercedes McLaren with Gasly and Magnussen. Which is better? I would. Oh God. You know what? Yeah, Alvaro. I would go for McLaren Mercedes with Gasly and Magnussen, just because if you had Sargent, Zhou, all in the team, and then anything else, it'd be a bit rusty, I think. What team do I build with 100? Oh yeah, Faflo. Faflo, I gave you your team. It was a similar team to mine. Faflo, this is the team you want to build. I actually got it up on my screen for you. I have 116.8 million. Hey, Kevson, we got the same team value. Snap. Norris, Gasly, Hulkenberg, Magnussen, Sargent, McLaren, Red Bull. What do you think? Yeah, and the great thing is you've got a much better team than me just because of your cheap drivers. Gasly, good, keep. Hulkenberg, good, keep. Magnussen, good, keep. Sargent, issues, but you know, you're always going to have a dud driver when you've only got 160.8 million. Then for 119.2 million, who asked that? John, I would go with, again, McLaren, Mercedes with Norris and Piastri because you could afford that. And then it would most likely be Zhou and Sargent with a Gasly as your 3rd cheap driver. Just submitted a Mercedes. Yeah, okay. Good stuff, Infinity. You should be doing well. So 15 minutes. So 15 minutes to go till qualifying. I'm going to keep an eye on when the filters change. They should be changing soon enough. Hopefully. We'll see. We never know. Yuki, Ocon, or Albon. Out of those 3, I'd probably go Ocon, then Yuki, then Albon. But they're all pretty decent, Simsy. What are the main points for today? Yeah, you know what, Zuera. Okay, so main points for the day. Don't trust the Ferraris. They are not going to be doing well in Silverstone, even though it says they're going to be doing well. Cheap driver-wise, let's have a quick little summary for everyone in the chat. Cheap driver-wise, let's get them all in. Stop it. Let's get them all in. Words. Sargent, a bit of a no-go, but if you have to use him, okay. Zhou, again, bit of a no-go, but if you have to use him for value, okay. Then Bottas, I'd steer clear of. Albon, again, cheap. He's okay. Only have him if he's your last resort. Hulkenberg, very good option. Have him in your team. Ocon, okay. Sonoda, okay. Gasly, have him in your team. Magnussen, have him in your team. Stroll, if you've got a single premium driver team and you don't mind having Sargent, have him in your team. Russell, the better of the two Mercedes drivers. Sainz, don't go near. Piastri would have as the second premium driver. Perez, don't go near. Leclerc, don't go near. Norris as your 2x driver, 100%. Verstappen, not a bad 2x shout, but again, Red Bull don't look as amazing. Constructor-wise, McLaren look the best this weekend. Red Bull look second best. Mercedes look third best. Don't go near Ferrari. Again, don't go near any of the cheaper constructors as well. Then, Autopilot, still wouldn't recommend because Norris looks better than Piastri. Wildcard, only if you need to get to the McLaren Mercedes team with Norris and Piastri and you can afford it. Otherwise, I wouldn't really use it. What else is there to cover? No extra DRS, no limitless. Could be rain, but I think it's going to dry out close to qualifying, and then we're going to be getting improvements all throughout the weekend, all throughout the qualifying session, which will be good fun. But yeah, I think that's the summary for anyone who did that. But yeah, your brain said, I know, that's what I mean. Yeah, if we look back over at my league as well, so we've got 798 people in it now. Thank you all so much for joining it. I'll put the code back in again. See if we can get up to 800 people in the league. The league I've got in, yeah. I'm happy to be 136th in my league. We've got Colt Viet, who I believe is second place in the world. We've got Leapers, who I believe is third or fourth in the world. Yeah, we got Jetto, who I think is top 10 as well. It's a very competitive league, but we love that. We love to see that. But right, where do we go? Yeah, back to my team. We'll get back on to those things. Full screen it. Just submitted Mercedes, McLaren, Sonoda, Sargent, Gasly, Joe with Norris. Yeah, Sonoda, Sargent, Gasly, good. Yeah, Infinity, that's probably the best you're going to get, though, with your price range. Kvek, I've got Norris, Gasly, good. Bottas, Joe, Sargent, but it works out. McLaren, Red Bull, because I'm broke on everyone. Yeah, no, I get you fully for that. That's fine, honestly, that team. You're not going to get much better with the value you've probably got. If you can, no, because Gasly is the best cheap driver to have this weekend. So honestly, you're doing as good as you can there. Quick question: Gasly or Albon? I'd go with Gasly. Sorry if you've answered this. No problem, Jess. No problem. You can always re-ask questions because sometimes I do miss them. Also, my mouse is getting really in the way. Gasly plus Ocon plus Bottas, or Gasly, Ocon plus Hulkenberg? Oh, Gasly / Ocon. I would go Jess. I'd go with Gasly because he's got a 20 place grid penalty, so it'll work out in your favour to have him. Then Hulkenberg. So the second option, Gasly, Hulkenberg, and Albon. No problem, Kevster. Yuki versus Magnussen. Already got Hulk 2. I'd go K-Mag, Alvaro. I really don't see Red Bull scoring 20 more points from Merc. This is what Biblical Bits says. Simply because overtakes won't be as high unless... Okay, that's a good question to ask, Biblical, because I think it's going to be around 15 to 25 points difference. So I think it could. But let's ask it in a poll. Will Red Bull score 20 plus more points than Mercedes? Yes or no? Let's see what we're saying. Oh, thank you so much, Shankly. What a legend. Thank you very much. With 2 transfers and a balance of 1.8 million, what should I do? Here's my team. Ferrari, Mercedes, Norris, Sainz, Bottas, Zhou, and Sargent. Okay, so off the bat, straight away, you need to get off the Ferraris. So with that 1.8 million, what I would recommend doing is... It's going to hurt. It's going to really hurt because... there's no one else. Right, yes, here's what you're going to do because I believe you could get enough money for that. So McLaren from Mercedes is a 2.7 million gap. You need to find points, what? 0.7... No, what am I talking about? 0.9 million in value. So what you could do to get that is drop... Nah, 0.9... You're in a really hard position there. Where you either have to go for the 1 premium drivers or improve Sainz. So I'll give you 2 options, Shankly. Here's option 1. You increase Sainz to Piastri, you 2 times Norris, and you stick with Ferrari and Mercedes, hope McLaren and Red Bull have a stinker somewhere. Although I don't think that's the best option. What I think the best option is completely dropping Sainz, bringing in McLaren, and bringing the likes of Stroll in or Alonso in for one weekend, because the gap from Ferrari to McLaren is going to be about 25 plus points this weekend, I think. But yeah, I feel McLaren will get the most points, then Mercedes. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. I feel ya. Definitely McLaren will get the most points. I think we can all agree on that. It's just whether or not Red Bull, Mercedes, and you believe Mercedes is going to get second. I believe Red Bull will still get a second. Purely because even still, I know Ferrari apparently got the fastest pit stops now after one weekend. But I still think Red Bull will come away with the second most points. Should I go with... but I hope that answers your question, Shankly, by the way. So I'd go with what I said. Ferrari up to McLaren, and then drop Sainz down to an Alonso just for one weekend. And then after that weekend, you could drop then Alonso further down, and you could increase Mercedes to Red Bull. Or you could look, if you have a great weekend driver-wise, into swapping... you can't really swap out your cheap drivers. Or you could then go resolve back into the single premium driver, drop down Alonso or Stroll further down, and increase Bottas, Zhou, Sargent to better drivers. What is the best possible team for 117.4 million? So I actually believe, I haven't actually said this yet, but if you have only and just enough for McLaren, Mercedes, Norris, and Piastri, with Sargent, with Zhou and Bottas, I don't think that's good enough. So with 117.4 million, I would go with a team like this. I believe F1 Fantasies is gonna be nice to me right now. I'm not even gonna risk it because they're being silly with these Ferrari options. They should give you Hulkenberg. No. See, very much disagree with this. Very much disagree because Piastri is not a good enough 2x driver. Don't agree with that at all. Yeah, here we go. This is the team I'd go for, because you'd have double Haas, Alpine of Gasly, which is the best option. And I know it's only 115.5 million, so with the extra money, I lie, yeah, they're idiots. I should just do this on my own thing, because I don't agree with having Sargent, actually. And you could easily drop Magnussen down to an Albon and bring in Zhou over Sargent, and that's a better option, I believe. For who was that for? I can't remember who that was for. Yusuf, there you go. No problem, Jess. No problem. B-tier assets. That's what I'm here for. B-tier assets could be huge for budget if rain comes tomorrow. 6 DNFs in F2 so far. Ooh, okay. The issue is, how big is the rain going to be? And it's going to be one of those times. It's going to be Canada all over again, isn't it? Hopefully this time Ferrari do the same thing. And we don't care about having Ferrari anymore anyway. But I just don't see there being more than 3 DNFs. And especially when it's the cheaper teams, I don't see Mercedes getting enough points to go up 1 million. I don't see Piastri going up enough points to get 1 million. Because Piastri's only going to get high 20s, and you have to be getting low 30s to go up 1 million on a weekend where we get DNFs. It'd be hard for him to do it. Possible, but I don't know. I don't see it happening. Although it would be nice if it did happen, because people would go up quite a lot in budget. Hey, Jelson, how you doing? Hope you're doing well as well. No, I'm doing well. You're doing well. No, what? Brain? Thinking of just putting Hulk back in for Tsunoda. For Norris, Piastri, Gasly, Hulkenberg, Mercedes, McLaren. Sound good? Hulkenberg for Tsunoda, yeah. Yeah, that sounds fine, honestly. Because you've got Gasly, which is the main thing. And Hulkenberg, he looks like the second best cheap driver, 100%. What's better, Max with Red Bull Mercedes or Norris with Red Bull and McLaren? Norris with Red Bull and McLaren, 100% Zibbons. Because I think... let me put another poll in. So everyone thinks Red Bull won't score more than 20 points compared to Mercedes. Let's put another poll in. Who will because I think we've all agreed it was McLaren, but for anyone who comes into the chat, it'll be nice to see what everyone thinks. Actually, I'm not going to add McLaren to this, because we all agreed that McLaren will get the most points. So let me get rid of that. So this is just in general who will score more points, Red Bull and Mercedes. Yeah, more bowls, more bowls. I'm in the feel for a vote. Do you prefer a Verstappen or Norris ×2? Formula 1 fan, I'd go with Norris ×2 any day of the week. Just because of driver of the day instance, fastest lap. He actually looks pretty set for getting pole position or second place this weekend. He'll find a way to bottle it, but it's Norris, so second place with driver of the day will still score him more points. Do you think Stroll, Sargent, or Yuki and Magnussen? Yuki and Magnussen. Theophile Alonso? Show it to Magnussen for a -10. No, I still stand by. If you're changing a cheap driver, if you're changing one cheap driver to another cheap driver, it will never be worth the -10. Yeah, Zibbons. Norris with Red Bull and McLaren, 100%. Why Verstappen never gets driver of the day? People don't like him. Simple as. People got bored. When people saw what he did in 2023, people became allergic to giving him driver of the day. And since then, he never gets it. And that's why we all agree in F1 Fantasy, driver of the day really shouldn't be 10 points. If you want to give points for it, 5 points maximum. Because when it's a popularity contest, we could literally all get together. If a big enough person posted a tweet just going, for a laugh, let's vote Sargent driver of the day, I kid you not, it would probably work and Sargent would get the 10 points in F1 Fantasy. It's just a popularity contest. Yes, start getting your thinking brains on, everyone. I don't know why I've been saying Mercedes, by the way. Because I will be logging in my team in 8 minutes. I also should be getting up the stream just to see what... let me go up now. Now TV. I can't obviously have it on loudspeaker, but I can see what the clouds are saying. What's your lineup this week? So sadly, it's probably going to look like something like this. I don't know why I keep on saying sadly. It's still a good team. It's just not as good as it could have been. This will be what my team looks like going into it. Honestly, we could vote Sargent driver of the day. Sadly, I don't think we're big enough yet, but one day, one day we should get all the top F1 YouTubers. What? Who are the top F1 YouTubers? You got Tomo F1, he's good. You got the F1 YouTubers like Tiamat Marduk, Arava, they're all big. I wonder if all of them combined, you could get Quadrant, all of them combined. Just say vote Sargent driver of the day. I think that would work. Isaac, no Haas in. Right, so bear in mind, when everyone's looking at my team, Haas are a good option. I'm just not taking a -10 to bring them in. I'm not even going to show my team on screen. I'm going to show a team that would be the better option for anyone who's around my price range. Because, just to clear up anything, Haas are very good. I do think they are the top 3 cheap drivers to bring in. No Gasly with penalty. Yeah, I wish I did have Gasly as well, but Gasly's only going to get around 14 to 15 points, and I don't think it's worth taking a -10 to get him. Tagged you on X for Sims. Surprising date to us. Oh, okay, let's have a look. Oh, yeah, sweet. Cheers, man. Ferrari? Where are they getting this? Are they pulling this out of their arse? I have not seen anything this weekend showing Ferrari are going to be fighting for... against McLaren. And I mean, Red Bull, really? I thought it'd be Red Bull McLaren up top, but in what world is Mercedes that far away? Haas sounds about right. Good for Kimi Antonelli. Williams sounds about right. Vikov sounds about right. Alpine I expect about there as well. What are they saying for race pace? Yeah, I mean, race pace-wise, it's the same thing again, isn't it? Every single weekend, that's not a sprint weekend, we get Ferrari's race pace. Watch out for Ferrari's race pace. And then it never happens. I'm sick and tired of it. But Yeah, with rain forecast, anything's possible. Yeah, so Adam agrees. Not sure I trust Ferrari. Race has been a bit more generous to them. 100% agreed. I do like that, though. For anyone who wants to see where that is, by the way, you can look at it over here on the F1 official app. Where is it? Where the hell is it? Normally it's here. News, is it on here? Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Here's the practice debrief. This is where they get all of this information from anyone who wants to know where that is. But, oh, wow. Okay, so people do think... Oh, sorry, my bad. People do think Mercedes are going to get more points. Fair enough. That would definitely mean the second premium driver builds are better if something like that did happen. Which is what I'm scared about. Gasly or Ocon? Gasly. Sahil, this is what my team... you need at least top 5 in the team this week with rain. Yeah. Rain's going to make it a little bit interesting. Lando, Logan, Zhou, Hulkenberg, Yuki with Merck and Red Bull. What changes would you suggest? Yeah. Screw the simulations. Our brains are smarter. Well, I don't know. I don't know about mine, to be fair. But right, yeah, Sahil. I would recommend changing Mercedes to McLaren, and then if you can afford, try to get Gasly instead of Yuki. Gasly, Ocon, Hulkenberg, or Gasly, Hulkenberg, Magnussen. I'd go for Gasly, Hulkenberg, Magnussen, Mia. Hey, Israel, thank you very much for the $5 Canadian. I believe that is. I have Norris times 2, Sonoda, Gasly, Hulkenberg, Albon, Red Bull, McLaren. Still have 2.2 million to spend. What should I do with it? Okay, so what you're going to want to do with it, if you've got 2.2 million to spend, you can't change to the McLaren Mercedes builds, sadly. I'm guessing you've got 2 free transfers. If you can, though, I'll like that for you. Thank you very much. Oh, are they out? Are they out? Oh, okay. Racing saying FP3 Sims. I would suggest getting Albon up to Magnussen, and you're good as gold. You are good as gold from that. But let's have a look. I have the current team on screen, but minus 10. Worth it? Punish. It depends what your team was before. Right, let's go have a look at these FP3 simulations. From the looks of things, Racing sounds very surprised. What have they done? What have they done to the Sims? I can swap out Red Bull for McLaren and no Sargent in my team, or swap out Mercedes for McLaren but Sargent in my team. Also, I want to build budget for my team. Okay, then I would do getting McLaren instead of Red Bull. Holy Russell Sims. Oh my god. It's because he came first place, isn't it? The issue is that was all in the rain. That's not going to happen. What in the world has happened here then? I mean, that's 100 million. Let's see what it thinks 110 million is going to be. Okay, McLaren, Mercedes, Norris. That sounds more right. Yep. 117 million, let's say. What is it thinking here? Have £1,000 on Pierre to win your brain stem. Bro, that's an easy money. Easy money. Oh, God. Obviously, don't do that. I am joking for anyone. It's not easy money. Please don't do that. But yeah, no, that's McLaren Mercedes with Russell and Hamilton. I'm sorry, but that's just not getting more points than the Norris 2 times. In what world is that doing that? Wow, very interesting. Very, very interesting. No sign of Red Bulls as well. What are they saying for 120? Whoops, not 1,000. Switch from Sonoda to Magnussen or Sargent to Albon? Sargent to Albon. You know what? I sort of get what they're saying. You could have a team of McLaren, Mercedes, Norris, Russell. But the issue is you go down here and this team is embarrassingly better. McLaren, Mercedes, Norris, Piastri. Piastri's going to do better. I mean, I say embarrassing better. It could be close, but I still think number 9's better than number 1. Like, you still have Sargent in both teams. That would be my only throwaway. If you could bring in Russell and not have Sargent, potentially. But, everyone's succumbed to the Sims. 122. Oh, there you go. You got a lovely little voice crack on stream for you all. God damn it. What happened to my drink? I can't even find it. I see why they want you to do it. But I still full-heartedly believe that this team right here is the better option. McLaren, Mercedes, Norris, Piastri, Gasly, Hulkenberg, Sargent for you. Oh, okay, punish. I see. Oh, actually, I'll do Gasly or Hulkenberg, Gasly, Yusuf. Nicolaus, hello to you. I have Norris, Piastri, Zhou, Albon, Sargent, and McLaren and Mercedes with free swaps and 0.4 million. What do I do? So Norris, Piastri, good. McLaren, Mercedes, good. I don't think you can do anything, to be fair, Nicholas. I think you stick with what you've got. Because you either go to the the one premium driver build, but I don't think that's worth it. I think you stick with what you've got. Best 100 million team. I actually probably do believe 100 million wise, you can't do much. I doubt you can. You can't bring in Norris with 100 million, can you? If it's raining, I think Mercedes over McLaren. So Bronco, here's the thing. If it's raining, I see why, because Mercedes look pretty nifty in the rain. But what happens when it stops raining? Because British weather is all over the place. And I don't think it's going to be a full wet rain or a full wet qualifying. What happens then? Then McLaren get these overtake points. They get these points getting to driver of the day, fastest laps. So I think that's why you got to be careful. But honestly, yeah, number 4 is what I would do for anyone who needs an 100 million team. McLaren, Mercedes, Russell. From the sounds of things, I don't think you can bring in Norris, so it makes about right sense. So I still wouldn't change Piastri, but like I said, second premium driver doesn't matter as much as premium driver. I think it's crazy how they think Russell would be a better premium driver than Norris. Well, I mean, I get it in 100 million teams. But Norris definitely still a 2-times driver. Piastri, Russell doesn't matter as much, but I'd still put my money on Piastri. But yeah, that's how it would go. Yes, good luck, FBL veteran. Have a great weekend as well. Yeah, it'd be great to see an all-British podium. I'd love it, man. Good luck to everyone. Let's lock in my team for now. Sadly, right. So I think we agreed I'm going with the Albon, not taking Gasly, sadly. I know. It's sad times. But this will be what the team looks like. 2 free transfers, 2 times, bim bam boom. Your boy's locked in. Okay, so I'm locked in, everyone. I will just have this on the screen now for anyone who wants to see. Obviously, and before anyone says no Haas, remember, Haas is still the better options. Gasly's still the better option. I just can't get him in my team. Haas in the rain is dreams. Yeah, honestly, I swear to God, if I miss out on Haas again doing it, I'm gonna lose my head. I'm not even being serious. I'm being serious. I will stay with Ferrari. Hope they win in the pit stops. Okay, you know what? You're playing the cheeky game, Maletios, but I respect it. Sims, yeah, they ain't picking Red Bull at all. I don't know what sauce they've had for breakfast. But I get it with what the FP2, FP3 results have been saying. But at the same time, come on, it's Red Bull. They're going to be, Verstappen's going to be in the top 3. Why don't you keep Mercedes and 2 premium drivers? Because McLaren, I still generally do think McLaren will get the most points. I think this Mercedes hype will die down a bit. It's not going to be like Canada. I refuse to let it be like Canada. But it's more, Mercedes will do well, but they'll come 3rd, 4th, 5th. 3rd best result as possible for them. When has Ferrari ever won on pit stop straps? Yash, actually last weekend. They won 15 points on the Ferrari pit stops. That's why they've been bolstered up in the rankings. I hope Sard go. Yeah, what a guy. Doesn't do anything silly this weekend. Well, yeah, that's the issue. With Sargent, him not doing anything silly, you know when like someone gets kicked off, like a football team, they get ticked off. Next year, yeah, when Williams resign, when he gets kicked out of Williams, it's going to be because he was too good. And it's just not fair on everyone else. Everyone else had to buy their way in, but Logie Bear, the GOAT, yeah, he deserves that 2021 Red Bull just going round over everyone else. Is it going to rain tomorrow? Most likely it's going to rain a little bit, but not too much, I don't think. We had a 45% coverage, I'm pretty sure it was saying, on Sunday. Yeah. So about race time, we're going to have 45, 35%. So again, I think race time, how many times do I want to say race time? We're going to see spitting rain or not so much rain. Because again, you got to remember, it's British rain as well. Like, yes, it could be like thundery there. But when it says light rain showers, it means very light. Consistently, Ferrari don't really do it that often. I think I might risk the Hamilton over Piastri. You know what? Because like I said, right, everyone who's risking all of this stuff, I just have to get it said. Norris is the 2 times you still want. However, when we go to the 2 times when we go to the other drivers, don't look at Austria because obviously it was a bit crazy. But Russell, 27 points. Hamilton, 29 points. It doesn't really matter who your second premium driver is too much. Obviously, Spain, Piastri didn't have a good race. But they're all going to get high 20s if they do well. So either way, you could lose out 5 points maximum. 5-10 points maximum. That's not the end of the world. McLaren over Red Bull, 100% McLaren over Red Bull. Is triple McLaren a play? I think it's the play, Obi, 100%. Is Stroll viable? If... Hey, Loose Frogs, good to see you in the chat. If Stroll's viable, if you don't mind having a one single premium driver build. And then curious what your rankings are of Hamilton, Russell, Piastri. So, Piastri top, Russell second, Hamilton third this weekend. There you go, Leaps. Oh, I know it's scary. Also, actually, I mean, I won't actually... I have an idea for a video in the summer break, but I'm going to try to get into contact with the top 5 in my league for the summer break, and I actually will try to get like a, I don't know, I'll get like a bit where you guys can say you're thinking of how F1 Fantasy is going to carry on and stuff. I think that'd be quite fun. Yes, everyone though, don't forget to lock in your teams. Please remember to lock in your teams. It will be a nightmare. And remember, try to do it before 15 minutes left because it doesn't normally happen with F1 Fantasy, but it does happen sometimes where, you know, servers can crash, too many people changing their teams. And, you know, worst case, you don't want to leave it basically to the final minute. But Piastri, Zhou or Russell Hulkenberg, I'd go with Piastri. I'd go with Piastri and Zhou for Arnie. Stroll or K-Mag and leave some money left on the table. I'd go with Stroll over K-Mag. Worth the -10 for Stroll Magnussen over Zhou and Bottas. You know what? I said no cheap drivers, but for cheap drivers like that, yes. But that's a very weird way. How would you be able to do that, VSAB? That's a very weird change. Zach, is this your final team? Yeah, something new, and this is my final team. But bear in mind, when you're looking at my final team, I would rather have Gasly. I would rather have Hulkenberg. I would rather have Magnussen. It's just how the cookie crumbles. I'm risking it. Russell second. Oh, Jelson's going for it. Well, we're all going to have pretty decent teams. We're all going to have very different teams as well. I'm very excited for this. Gasly or K-Mag? Very much Gasly. Hey, Zayed. Norris, Gasly, Hulkenberg, Bottas, Sargent, Red Bull, McLaren. I was thinking of bringing in Albon or Mercedes, then carry free transfers. I would bring in Albon and then carry the free transfers, not Mercedes. Would you take a -10 to get to the Norris, Piastri, and McLaren Mercedes build? Oh, if you've got Ferrari and Mercedes, John, I would take the -10. Yeah, I'm going Mercedes over McLaren this weekend. Oh, okay, Sean. I like the balls on ya. I like the balls. I wouldn't do that, but you know what? We'll see. Come Monday when I do my live stream, because I will be doing a live stream after the race this week because there won't be a race next weekend. Come live stream, you can rub it in my face as much as you want if Mercedes do better. I believe we're most likely probably not going to get the best teams now because it's going to be too many people seeing what they can do. My B team, Mercedes, Alpine, Hammer Time, yeah, Russell, Piastri, Hulkenberg, Magnussen. What do I do? So, Ricky, I'm assuming your B team, you don't want it to be like the meta. I would still, if you don't want it to be the meta, get rid of Piastri, go full Mercedes mode, bring in McLaren, Mercedes, Hamilton, and Russell. And then Ruben, hi Zach, yeah, no problem. Norris, Sainz, McLaren, Mercedes, Ferrari. What do I do? Go Norris, Gasly, McLaren, Mercedes, or keep Ferrari and just swap Sainz. I'd go Norris, Gasly, McLaren, and Mercedes because McLaren will score a lot more points than Ferrari this weekend. Put my locks in on Discord. Oh, okay, let's have a look at that as well then. let's have a look at that. For anyone who wants to join the Discord as well, I don't have the link on me right now. However, I can make a new link actually right now. If anyone wants to join the Discord, here you are. We talk about obviously the F1 Fantasy in here. I think we've got about 42 people in there now. It's pretty happy with that. But yeah. No, why did I put laughing face? I didn't mean to put that, Jelson. I did not mean to put that. Oh, yeah, there we go. I did not mean to put the laughing face, Jelson. My bad. I'm not laughing at your team. I literally just went into like brain dead mode. I was trying to find the fire one. Hi, Zach. Just joined. I aced the autopilot last week and had Norris 2 times, and Piastri got 254 points. Very well done. Well done. It sounds like you've got the right team, though. Norris and Piastri going into this weekend. Risking it with Ferrari, Pierre. Ooh, your brainstem. Okay. Where was I? Yeah, Lando, Russell, Zhou, Sargent, Mercedes. Oh, that's a very big risk, Ferrari and Mercedes. But you know what? Big balls. You got to go balls to the wall with sometimes. So good luck, man. Out. Piastri, Sargent, Albon. In. Hulkenberg, Magnussen, Gasly. Good stuff, Nicolas. You're going to do well. Team 3 is my first team. Yeah, let's have another look, actually. Team 3 is my first team. Oh, my God. Could I look on that? Norris, Russell, Mercedes, McLaren. Yeah, that's decent. Yeah. Oh, mate. But even the Norris, Ocon, Gasly, Hulkenberg, Magnussen team should do really well as well. Yeah, I'm so sorry, Yusuf. I'm pretty sure you're not going to get any best teams from F1 Fantasy now, F1 Fantasy tools. However, I can tell you at 117.4 million, Yusuf, you're probably going to be looking at a team with Norris, McLaren, Red Bull, with both Hasses and Gasly with Sargent. Should I remove Max and put Lando or go Russell and Hamilton? Remove Max and go Lando. And then basically I will answer the final few questions. But yes, I'll give my summary now. So if you have less than 117.5 million, go with McLaren, Red Bull, Norris, single premium driver. Try to get in double Haas and Gasly. They're the best 3 cheap drivers. If you've got over that, go with McLaren and Mercedes. You can go with Norris and Russell or Norris and Piastri, whichever you want to choose. There's going to be rain. I doubt there's going to be too much rain. I think it will dry up for qualifying a bit. I was supposed to get up the stream and I never even looked at it. Again, in the race, it's not going to rain too much. It could rain, but I think most of the rain will be before the race. And then what else is there to do? I think that's about sums it up, to be fair. -10 for Sargent, out for Magnussen. I wouldn't do that. And then Norris plus Sargent or Hamilton and Ocon. I would go with Norris and Sargent psychology. But thank you all so much for watching. I just have to thank you all so much for the support because we actually got over, let me check what it is now, 1,400 subs the other day. Yeah, wow, we're at 1,431 subs. If you can see that, I can't see if you saw that. Thoughts or no negative? I wouldn't do it, Michael. So thank you all so much for the support. And I actually do want to show you something else as well. Because I believe... yes, well done. This, for anyone who still wants to go watch the live streams, go over to Rain Fantasy. He actually just hit 1,000 subs. So congratulations to him, man. I'll put this up here for anyone who wants to see this. Go over to here because I'm going to end the stream now in 1 minute. I'm actually just going to congratulate him, actually, though. Let me move this over here. But yeah, thank you so much for joining. There we are. Right, where did I go? Where did my chat go, actually? I need to get my chat back up. I'm sorry, everyone. Let me get back to my usual stream. Yes. Thank you all so much for joining me this weekend. And yes, good luck, everyone. See you all for... Well, I actually can't do a stream before the race. But yeah, good luck, everyone, because I've got a barbecue. But thank you all so much for joining. And yeah, see you all soon.